I'm getting ready to do the yearly forecast reading for 2015, but first I wanted to do a Oracle deck review. The other day, excuse me, I really felt the need to go to the bookstore, and as soon as I walked in, lo and behold, this deck was sitting out waiting for me. It's been a very long time since I have really connected with a new deck that's come out, and I am absolutely in love with this deck. It's called the Soul's Journey Lesson Cards by James Van Praagh, I think is how it's pronounced. I probably mispronounced it, but it's one of those little decks that comes in, you know, a really good sturdy box from Hay House. So the box is really nice. And here is the little guidebook that goes with it. It's just a little thing, but I really like the way that the author has done it. He's got a short little intro, about 10 pages, on how to work with the cards, cleanse them, consecrate them, all of that. And then he actually doesn't have very many spreads in here, which I think is actually kind of nice with this particular deck. Usually I like to see several different spreads in a guidebook, but this particular deck, I have found that it's much more satisfying to create your own spreads to use. But if you want to get this as like your first Oracle deck, he does have a few. He's got like a 1-card spread, 3-card spread in here, and then an explanation on multi-card spreads. So he doesn't give us a finite number, but he does tell us that he personally likes to do a 7-card draw. And right from there he goes right into the meanings of the cards. This is actually what every one of them looks like. It's about 1.5 pages. But within the 2 or 3 paragraphs that are in here, he's actually got quite a bit of information and things that can really kind of motivate you when working with this deck. So this particular deck is 44 cards, which I think kind of goes along with the theme and artwork of the deck. The entire deck is covered in mandalas, I think is how they're pronounced, or sacred spirit wheels. This is the backs of the cards. I think is absolutely beautiful. And then looking at the front of the cards, we have the mandala that the artist associated with the theme of the card. Like this one is worry, and then there's a little affirmation at the bottom of each card to kind of get you started working with each theme. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the cards that are in the deck. Each one has a different color, each one has a different mandala associated with it. If you are particularly into like Buddhism, Hinduism, and all of that, then this deck will probably be of great interest to you. I've actually done a little bit of studying myself, but not to the degree that I would like. So this deck is going to be very, very helpful for me in that aspect. So some of them have borders around the images, others don't, but every single card has its own spirit wheel, which I think is very, very nice. I just actually created a spread for this particular deck, going through your life's journey and what kind of lessons you should be working on, lessons that you have conquered, lessons that you'll be facing on your next journey or your next cycle. But all in all, I would rate this deck a 4.5 out of 5, you know, or a 9 out of 10. simply because it's beautiful, it has wonderful messages, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more on each card. I do like the fact that they do have affirmations on them, but I think that the author could have put a little bit more per the meanings on each card. And even though the guidebook is, you know, it's small, it is very helpful, I think he also could have expanded on the meanings of each card as well. So that's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. But all in all, I really do like this deck very, very, very much. So this card actually captured my attention right away. The first thing I do when I get a new Oracle or Tarot deck is I just flip through, look at the imagery, and kind of see what I can get from the cards prior to using them. And as soon as I get them home, I cleanse them, and then I do a little 5-card draw to kind of get to know the cards. And the message that I got from this deck, for me personally, looking at my relationship with this deck, I'm going to be dealing with a lot of different issues that I have been kind of keeping on the back burner and avoiding, particularly with certain relationships that I have that I've kind of been ignoring. So this deck came to me for a reason. If you get the chance to try this deck, I would suggest, you know, giving it a shot. Because it's a Hay House deck, it's actually really not that expensive. I think it was like $15 or something like that. And I'll have to check and see. You might be able to get it as a phone app. I know a lot of Doreen Virtue's decks you can get as phone apps. This is actually one of my favorites with the dolphins. I think this card is just absolutely gorgeous. Excuse me. This one is beautiful too. Health. I like the spirit circle that's on there. I think it is just beautiful. It reminds me of the heart chakra in a lot of ways, and kind of working with that energy. So I'm just going to keep going through the deck so you guys can all get to see what every card looks like, so that you can, you know, decide if this is one that you really would like to work with. Because of the way that the pattern is on the back of the cards, unfortunately you will know if the cards are inverted before you draw them, which I think is definitely a drawback for this deck. I like having cards with very symmetrical backs so you can tell when they're going to be inverted before you draw them, so you can kind of prepare yourself for the reversed energy that comes along with them, or the blockages that come along with them. Some very, very detailed artwork on here. The artist, let me see, her name is in here somewhere. I'll get it out. But she did every single card individually, which I think is really cool. She painted each one individually. The artist's name is Charlotte Backman. And since I fell in love with her style here, I'm definitely going to be looking her up and seeing what else I can find by her. Whether it's card decks or just prints that I might be able to buy, because I absolutely love the artwork on these. It's very minimal, it's very effective, and yet it's still very, very colorful and evocative kind of artwork. So like I said, each card has its own excuse me, has its own color associated with it, along with, you know, an individualized spirit circle or mandala that goes along with the theme of each card. So, and this deck I love absolutely. It picks up on various themes and, you know, emotions and just issues that we tend to deal with throughout our lives, throughout our soul journey, whether it's in this lifetime or in past lifetimes. And some of them are very, very, very geometric, which actually reminds me of sacred geometry, working with Archangel Metatron, which is not really something I've gotten into because at first glance it didn't make any sense to me, and you know, trying to read up on it, it still didn't make any sense. So it's not really something that I'm into, but these cards are vaguely reminiscent of sacred geometry. So if that's something you're into, this also might be a good deck for you to try to work with. Absolutely beautiful cards. In this card, Trust, the image on it and the colors on it really remind me of the throat chakra and kind of dealing with communication issues. And what I think is really, really good about this particular card, having that kind of association with it. If we don't trust someone, we're not going to communicate very well with them. And that is especially true with yourself. So like I said, this deck is very, very powerful in that it's very evocative. It's very colorful. It's very, you know, it's got various shapes and all of that, various symbols. I only wish that the author had put more onto the cards besides just the affirmation. But as I said, I would give this deck probably a 9 out of 10. Simply because it's beautiful. I have had a lot of success working with it just in the week that I have had it. I've actually created a spread, which I will be posting on my shop later today, after I do the yearly forecast reading that I've been promising you guys. But overall, it's a very, very good deck, and I would suggest giving it a try if you get the chance. If not, like I said, I'll check before I post this video and see if you can get it as an app for your phone or for Kindle. And if that's possible, I'll go ahead and post the link below in the video description. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that if you get the chance to work with the deck that you enjoy it as much as I have, and I will see you later.